Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lawrence McGugins, and we want to welcome you to Ageless Fitness. My partner here is Carlos Santiago.
Hey, everybody, this is Carlos, a.k.a. Beast, a.k.a. The Rock, a.k.a. Ya Tu Sabe. So I know my partner just finished saying, but he's also a.k.a. The Horse.
The Horse, yes, since a teenager.
Yes.
So we want to ask you a question, our good people. What does fitness look like to you? Fitness comes in many forms and fashion and passion. So it's just not being in the gym. It could be Pilates, yoga, HIIT, functional training, running, spin classes, simple walking, martial arts, boxing, swimming. It's just a plethora. You, the audience, fit into one of those categories and more if there are others that I don't know about. But we want to talk about fitness, wellness, overall holistic approach to keeping your body functional, mobility as we grow older. Right, Carlos?
Definitely. You want to keep the body going. This also includes, doing fun activities, dancing, salsa, maybe learning some bachata. But there's the function where as you get older, you just have to do things that keeps you functioning, moving, where your hips are not as tight, your back. A lot of times people have these issues and it's not from the back. It's probably tight hip flexors, tight glutes. How many people actually stretch? Not many.
Exactly.
Not many.
So just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I grew up in the Bronx in the 70s. I come from an athletic sports family. I am the shortest of three males in my family. My brother is 6'7", that played at St. John's University. My other brother, the oldest one, 6'6", played at Iona College. Myself, 6'2". I'm not too short, but short in comparison to the family. Ended up playing at Adelphi University. My son, who played Division I college football at LIU. And so I come from an athletic family, so there is that competitive nature. There's that discipline of every day waking up, focus on achieving a particular goal. And I remember when I was 12 years old, my father gave me, those who were back in the 70s, the sanded plastic weights, and he gave me my first weight set, and I began to, work out, not knowing much. Until I got to high school. I played high school basketball and football, then went on to play college basketball. Sometimes I, should have changed my mind and probably pursued more football. But anyway, and ended up playing a little semi-pro. But once I graduated college, I was introduced more to bodybuilding. I trained at a place called Pumping Iron, who at the time was owned by Steve Stone. A lot of professional bodybuilders used to come and train there back then in the early 90s. And so I was really introduced to that bodybuilding world, respected, loved the look, the six pack, the veininess, the graininess to the body, just to see somebody take themselves through a process where it's very scientific and methodical, but it took discipline and hard work. Then, 30 years later, I decided to get in and step on stage at 60 years old. In 2 shows, I became an IFBB pro in men's physique, and Lord willing, looking to compete again this coming fall for my first pro debut show. But I really embrace fitness because even before training and getting into bodybuilding, I did a lot of functional mobility and stability training. And make a long story short, I was diagnosed in March of 22 with severe spinal stenosis in the L4, L5. And it was just years of abuse of my body. It was, a lot of physical abuse from playing sports and training. And then just age set in at 57 at that time. And it was the worst the NYU surgeon had saw. And he said to me, he was like, I don't know how you was walking. But I contributed a lot of my recovery because of the physical fitness, the mobility, the flexibility, the stretching, the functional movement. So I just want to challenge you all to really take serious your physical health, your well-being holistically. So enough about myself, but Carlos,
Born and raised in the boogie down Bronx, right off of Kingsbridge Road. So many of you are familiar. St. James Park, Poe Park back in the days. I'm 70s baby. And I started working out at about 11, 12 years old. Fell in love with martial arts, watching Bruce Lee movies, Jackie Chan, and just looking at the Rocky movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and just working out at home. And I took a love for bodybuilding. Used to, I asked my parents for allowance money, and I would go and buy Muscle Fitness magazines, Flex. And then I had a cousin who was older than me who competed in bodybuilding in John F. Kennedy High School, I believe in 80 something, 82, 83. And he had Pumping Iron, the movie, VHS, many of you remember. And just fell in love with just the whole world of bodybuilding, and never wanted to be that big because I was in martial arts, started at 13 in martial arts, like the average person being bullied, and fell in love with it, focused a lot on flexibility. Then I started football, loved football. I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed football. Basketball was just a hobby, but football became a passion. I played in high school, junior varsity, then I played semi-pro for 2 years. But I just continued passion for just doing karate. Became a professional fighter at 16, and then at 19, almost 20, became a PKF cruiserweight fighter. But throughout that journey, I'm very grateful and thankful, my dad, purchasing my first gym set at Modell's in Fordham Road, and just working out, reading the magazines. There was a gym on 198th and Webster called Adonis. I used to go there at 16, and that was my dad's gift to me. Like, as long as you're doing good in school, I'll pay for the gym membership. And back then was $40 a month, back in 1990, 91. And I continued working out until I became a professional trainer in 2002, got ACE certified, worked at Bally Sports Club in Manhattan, and just continued the journey of just working out. Started powerlifting a little, but powerlifting to me kind of felt a little boring, waiting 2-3 minutes. I like working out and just lifting the weights and then waiting only 45 seconds to a minute. Then I started doing functional training with TRX, BOSU, got into yoga, got into spinning, started cycling, did twice the 5-borough marathon, got me a nice mountain bike. I believe it was Gabby Fisher, just started just moving, taking salsa lessons, just continue being active. And being a trainer, I was around a lot of people, and I got to meet so many people who just started competing in bodybuilding. So I would help them get ready, help them do the shows, be there backstage, until one of my friends named Danny back in 2016 was like, "Hey, Carlos, why don't you compete?" And I was like, "Me? I don't know about eating 5-6 meals a day." I was like, "I don't know about that." And the rest became history. I did my first show at 40 years old, 41, came in second, and the rest was history. Continue competing and just continue loving working out, continue helping people, inspiring people inspiring me. The great thing about working out, and I tell this to people, is you're challenging yourself, but you're changing your body, right? You want your biceps to be a little bigger, then you do more bicep curls. You want your legs to be bigger, then you do more squats. It's one of those things where if you want to increase your vocabulary, right, you just read more and you learn new words. Well, when it comes to working out, if you want to do something and be better at something, you just work on it. So I just love working out. And that's how Larry and I met at the gym, knowing Larry for about almost just hi, hello, knowing the same circle for about close to 4-something years. And the love of fitness, the love of bodybuilding, the love of working out and bettering ourselves brought us together. And now we're here to pass that experiences with you.
Also, too, I'm not sure, I don't believe you mentioned, you're also a black belt, right?
Yes, I hold 2 black belts. I'm a black belt in Shotokan, a black belt in Shindaru. I did about over 100 point fighting and full contact tournaments. And I'm a former cruiserweight PKF champion at 14-1. So I took fighting for a long haul till I was 31. But then the UFC wasn't around that much and the money wasn't great. So I said, you know what? I'm about to tank it in. These concussions ain't that good.
Yeah. So, like Carlos and I had spoken, when we refer to fitness, our lane has been mostly training in a gym setting.
Yep.
Like Carlos and myself, I got into mountain biking off road. but being 230 and heavy like that on a mountain bike off road, it's a hard fall.
Definitely.
But it was just always keeping active. And that's our message to you all is whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you love love doing. Again, it could be running, swimming, whatever it is, as long as it's, moving the body, creating, your heart rate to rise up, and just knowing exactly what it is you want to accomplish in your journey, because we want to see people, see myself, I'm 61, Carlos is 50, soon to be 51.
Yes.
And we want to share our journey. We want to encourage you all to be better, to not take for granted every day given to us. So we want to make sure that you all will get up with purpose and knowing, because a healthy body creates a healthy mind. A healthy mind creates a healthy body, there's discipline, and it can offset and increase other areas of your life. Would you
Definitely.
agree?
And one thing we want to really talk about and explain is just because we or thousands of people love to work out doesn't mean we get up every morning going home happy to hit the gym. It doesn't work that way. There are times where I don't want to work out, like this morning. I didn't sleep well, but I had to get up. I had to work out because I didn't have time during the day. So the one thing working out does, and from a young age playing sports, is discipline. Doing the things that you don't want to do, but you have to do, right? The same way we get up and we have to go to work because we have bills. We got responsibilities. We got to, support our family, our kids. It's the same way when it comes to our body. Don't change that. Just getting up. Like you said, if you don't feel like going to the gym, go for a walk. If you're running late from work, sometimes don't always take an Uber. Just walk to the train, walk what you have to do. Walking is a start. Doesn't always have to be cycling or anything else. Just staying active. Nutrition plays a part, cut back on the processed foods, cut back on the fried foods. We all know the government is not here to protect us. Do not go by the doctor is going to help me, the government is going to help me, FDA is here to save the day. No, educate yourself. If I could tell you one thing to definitely eliminate, stay away from fast foods, and the rest you're gonna live a better life.
Yeah. So, folks, you'll be really happy to know that we'll be covering a plethora of areas and topics surrounding around wellness, surrounding around, fitness and even mental health. We're going to have guests. It won't just be Carlos and I talking all the time, but we'll have special guests on that you can relate to. So we want to make this podcast very informative. We're not looking to bash any other podcast. Nope. We just want to stay in our lane and to encourage those that we touch and inspire to do better. That's all. That's all we want to do. We have love for you all.
Yes.
We may not know you personally. We may one time at some point in life, but we just want to be able to be an inspiration that people can say, hey, these gentlemen really do bring good content, good information. And we want that to be the message, that's carried out to other people. So good people, as you already have learned about Carlos and I, we also want to know more about yourself, right? So we want to make sure that and challenge you to invest in yourself. See, I will be reading, Carlos and I will read at times notes because we want to make sure that we're clear, concise in our delivery.
Yes.
To make sure that you really understand and you can take notes. If you need to do so,
you can pause.
We can pause, you can pause, so on and so forth, right? So our first challenge to you is invest in your health now, or you will be forced to pay for your illness later.
Amen.
And, nothing in life is guaranteed. You can do all the right things in life and still, unfortunately, pass away.
Yes.
Right? However, there are things that we can do that are within our control to prevent those things from occurring immaturely.
And better chance.
And a better chance of survival, yes. Right? Because you want to invest in yourself, yep. Whether it is going to a gym, whether it is eating right, or it's running, swimming, whatever it is to you, fitness,
yes.
You will have a better chance of living a longer life, a more quality.
Yeah.
It's about quality, because one day we all will pass away. But in the meantime, I want to live the best quality of life.
Yeah.
Don't you agree, Carlos?
I agree. The old generation, when they got older, you could tell that it was rough for them to play with the grandchildren, to pick up the kids. This new generation, we want it to be a point where, like you said, you're 61, I'm about to be 51. So when we do pick up our grandchildren in our 60s and the late 50s, we're having fun. We're still playing, we're still running around. So not only think about fitness as a vanity thing, but look at it as, I want to enjoy life. I want to still go to the amusement parks. I want to go dancing. I want to go swimming or go to the park or play a pickup ball or play handball and not feel I can't because of injuries or flexibility or I'm just not strong enough.
And most of us at this age have grandchildren.
Yes.
Although I'm still waiting for mine.
I have 4.
He has 4, and you want to give them the same quality you gave your daughters and, your sons. You want to be able to go play ball with them or, go take them swimming, so you want to be around where they say, Grandma, Grandpa, why are you sitting down all the time? And you can't breathe because of things you didn't do to take care of yourself, so we want to help you. And these are our podcasts, again, is to encourage you, to push you, to take your health, to invest in yourself more seriously.
Yeah.
Because there are people relying on you. There are people that love you. And people want you around as long as they can, and the importance of us investing in ourselves are extremely important when it comes to fitness and wellness. And, again, Carlos mentioned it earlier, eating is key. We can't eat the same as we ate when we were 20, even 30 years old. The digestive system begins to slow down. One of the things I encourage you to do is after you eat a heavy meal or any meal, get up and walk 10 minutes, maybe even 15.
Yeah.
If you have an at-home bike in front of the TV, just ride, right? Because my grandparents, I used to remember back in the 70s, after every meal, especially dinner, they went walking together. Grab your wife, grab your husband, grab your dog, grab whoever or just yourself and just begin to walk after a nice meal. Because it'll help you digest that and not sit there.
One of the major factors now is gut issues. Remember, your gut is the brain of your body. So a lot of times people having issues with their stomach, their gut, sometimes the stomach is a little too large and they think, oh, it's the food. It is the food, but it's your body's not processing it the way it used to be when you was in 20s and 30s, right? Many of us was able to, how many of us went dancing, went out, when I hit the diner 4 a.m, woke up the next day, and you was out in the going, you was at work. Fine. Can't do that anymore. So the gut plays a huge factor. And one of the things we want to bring to this topic, to the podcast, is not only being mobile, but asking the doctor the right blood work to do, right? To check your gut. Men should be doing the colonoscopy if you're over 50. These are things that you should be doing. Don't say, I'm fine, I'm healthy. You could be healthy and you not know what's happening inside. It's could be a lot going on. I just found out from a friend of mine's that his aunt passed away and she didn't want to go to the doctor. She refused because she said God would handle it. But you got to put in the work. God can do it all. And she didn't go to the doctor for 7 years. She went finally in January. You have less than 3 months to live. And the doctor said it to her. If you would have came and done your annual checkups, we could have caught this 4 years ago, but you're stage 4. About to be, and this is sad news. So people, take advantage of your health insurance. Go to the doctor. Live that life. Like Larry was saying, people are counting on you. People are relying on you. Your children, your friends, even your coworkers, people you come across,
Yeah, fear, I find like a lot of people are afraid.
Yes.
To go to the doctor. That's, again, investing in yourself, right? And that's your health. Other than just the physical activity, it's going to your daily routine for for your checkups. And you have to, because you don't know what lies dormant in your body. And to Carl's point, an example, that individual had cancer in her body for all those years or whatever time period, but if she could have gotten ahead of it if she took it, much more serious, So, ageless fitness is just not a name. It's a starting point. Yep. Because it's ageless. You can begin at any point in life, no matter where you're at in life, no matter your physical condition. And, we want to be sensitive towards people who may have medical conditions, who may have things that prevent them from going to the gym or seriously dieting or whatever it may be. So we want to be sensitive to those individuals. But there is a way of still addressing and still accomplishing. So we don't want you to make an excuse because you do have something that is preventing you. Yeah. But you have to know exactly and be realistic on your goal. What is you want to obtain? And how could you become the best version of yourself? You may not look like, a model, the most beach body person, have the 6-pack, 8-pack, or whatever, but your heart is strong, you're mobile, you're moving. It's really what's important to you in your life and what kind of quality of life you want to live. It's not so much the look. If we can get beyond that, it's more about what's inward, right?
And the one thing I tell everybody, just focus on a few areas. 1, focus on your BMI, your body mass index. 2, let's focus on body fat. So out of 100%, what is your percentage of body fat? That's, is where heart disease comes, cardiac arrest, heart attacks, strokes, etc. And 3, need to eat more of a protein diet. It doesn't matter if you're vegan, if you're organic, if you're eating, if you like to eat meat, you need protein. You need to build muscle. And that's a different ways to do that. And that's something that we're going to continue talking about. But if you're carrying around a high body fat, you got to understand your heart is a large muscle. It is a muscle. You have all these valves coming into. If you have so much fat surrounding, so if this is my heart and I have all this fat around it and I'm putting all this pressure in this heart, how do you think this heart is going to function? It's going to wear and tear eventually. It's like a car. You ever notice when you buy a car, every car has a different air pressure, right? Some have, could hold 30 pounds of pressure in the tires, 28 PSI. So if I put 1,000 pounds in that car, what happens to the car? The shocks go down, the tires are taking a hit. Eventually, it's going to get you to A and B, but it's going to break down. Why do you want your body to break down? Why? Just focus on health. Just because you have a 6-pack does not make you healthy. Just because you have a 32-inch waist does not make you want to bring down your body fat. So focus on that. Focus on being moving, active. And eventually, you're going to look different. You're going to look better. But I think what hurts people, and especially in the Black and brown community, is we don't take mental health seriously enough, and we don't go to the doctor enough. We don't.
No.
And we need to change that. Moving forward, we do.
And, again, I mentioned this earlier, in eating, people don't know what to eat. Yeah. So we will have individuals on here who do meal preps.
Yeah.
Nutritionists.
Dietitians.
We will have those individuals on to cover those topics so that you're informed and to make it budgetary, right? Yeah. Not everybody, to eat healthy, we know is extremely expensive, So again, we want to be sensitive to a lot of different demographics and individuals who, say, hey, I don't have the money to eat, but, we want to help you reprioritize where are you spending that money at, Are you buying those Jordans where it's $300 and you could have a healthy refrigerator full of food, and cabinets full of food that are healthy, Are you going to
Starbucks every day? Maybe cut it back to 4 times a week.
Right. So we'll definitely get into those as well. So once you decide, right, to invest in yourself so you don't have to pay later, we also, when you take that next step in knowing what is it? The question to you is, what is it that you want to accomplish, right? So if you want to start going to a gym, for example, if you become a part of a running club, any type of group activity, spinning class, or maybe swimming, they all have instructors. Yes. They all have, coaches. Yep. You have your lifestyle living, people who are just want to be in lifestyle, and then you have your competitive athletes. Yes. So those are two areas we'll cover as well. But when you begin to make that decision on what it is that you want to accomplish and you're seeking help, we want to help you and give you some key pointers as to what do you look for in a coach, or what do you look for in a trainer? Yep. What do you look for in an instructor, right? So, Carlos has been a general manager of a lot of fitness facilities. Yeah. So he's had to hire fitness instructors. He's had to hire spinning coaches, or, coaches, maybe aerobic coaches, boxing coach, which, we want to be able to give you some key pointers as to what to look for. Yes. And that's the next topic that we're going to flow into, is what to look for. So we gave in, now we're past investing. You decide to invest. I'm going to get serious. These gentlemen have motivated me. I want to take my health more serious, and we want to then now lean into, who do you look for guidance, and what do you look for in a coach? So, Carlos, you start this out on, what people should be looking for.
What I would, real quick, is what not to look for, real quick. So don't fall into the trap where you see somebody who looks a certain way, who has, in your opinion, the perfect body, and say, I want him or her as my trainer. It's the worst thing you could do without talking to them, because many people in this industry are gifted with great genetics. I've seen many men and women who don't practice what they preach and do not have the greatest lifestyle, but you will never know it. They walk with bodies of a goddess. And you don't want a person who doesn't know how to train you, who doesn't know how to train your body type, also who's going to train you for that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or even an hour, and is constantly on their phone. So you don't want that. So one of the things you want to do is interview the person. Nothing wrong with if you find them on Instagram, or if you find them in the gym, just go up to them, introduce yourself. Like, hey, my name is Carlos. What is your name? I'm looking for a trainer. Do you have a minute? How long you been a trainer for? Are you certified? Which certification companies, are you licensed with? Are you licensed with either ACE, NASM, ISSA, NFPT? Are you CPR certified? These are things you want to know, and get to know them. They could be the greatest. They could be on paper, have the greatest resume, but are you going to be compatible with each other, personality-wise? Or is it going to be an hour of just you two looking at each other like, next? So interview the person and ask them, do you offer a complimentary session, a free session? So if we do hit it off, I think those are great things to ask for. And lastly, does the person have reference, testimonial from clients? You kind of speak to their clients, or look at their DMs, or look at their social media and see, this person has trained these type of people. Let me reach out, let me ask. Because you are investing, depending on how much you're investing, 75, 50, 100 an hour. It's a lot of money. It's about $200-300 a week, $1,000 a month, or even less. You want to know, am I getting what I'm paying for, the value? So interview, right? The same way you interview somebody for a job. This is a job you're paying them for service. So interview them, get to know them. Don't rush into it. All right, I want to start working with you tomorrow. And then a month, 2 months in, you just spend a few $100s and it wasn't a good fit. So something that we have done before, we want to interview, get to know people, even though we are in the business, but when we do hire people, you want to get to know them.
So again, it's going back to knowing exactly what it is you want to accomplish. Yeah. It's fat loss, build muscle. And the one thing I want the ladies to understand, lifting weights doesn't mean you're going to gain muscle like this overnight.
No.
It's recomposition of your body, which takes over time period, right? It's your eating, so on and so forth. If you want to get into bodybuilding, that's one thing.
It's a different, yeah.
But to train and to lift weights, you will not look like a man.
You know how many men want to look like a man?
Right.
It's not that easy.
Right. It's not. So, and that's a good point because you would think because a man lifts, he's strong, he's this, he's that. And absolutely not. So to gain muscle definitely takes hard work, dedication, eating.
Nutrition is everything.
Nutrition is everything, you know? So if you're not looking, women, don't worry about it. You can lift weights.
Yes.
You know, don't be afraid. And you need to lift weights as well. So one other thing too is a trainer should be able to consistently get you results safely and efficiently. Is there a reasonable time frame to see results? Do you think is there a reasonable time frame to see results?
I believe so. I believe
that's if the person is putting in the work.
Yes.
You're not cheating when you're not. You're being held accountable, right?
And that's the trainer's responsibility and your responsibility, right? Where if you're doing, let's say, weekly or bi-weekly check-ins, sending them the pictures on time. If they're telling you, send me the pictures on Saturday or Sunday, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., do it. He or she shouldn't have to remind you. You're paying for this. But like you said, hold yourself accountable. And be honest. Yeah, coach, I missed a few sessions of cardio and I didn't eat well. Okay, let's get back on the horse. But don't lie because a great coach will find out. Once you send those pictures, they're going to look at those pictures from previous weeks. They're going to know you've been eating a little extra.
Exactly. And this might be mindful because you might be worrying, especially a lot of the women, your private areas, so on and so forth. You block it out. You block it out.
Yeah.
Right? So this is not a perverted.
No, you wear.
It should not be a perversion.
Sports bra, shorts. Right. Even if if you do want to go that route, you don't have to go that route. But I believe pictures says a lot because the scale always changes. You could look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm changing. But when you take those pictures and you look at those pictures, you're like, oh, wow. And that's when the reality hit. I shouldn't have missed those sessions. I should have not watched those Netflix specials. I should have just went to the gym. Because going to the gym 3-4 times a week, it's only a few % of your weekly. We don't want you to be in the gym every day. We just want you to invest 3 to 4 hours. That's it.
How many days a week you think is reasonable?
You're going to start off with at least 3 times a week. Maybe once, twice a week with a trainer and 1 day on your own. Build momentum. Because I feel, and a lot of people feel this way, once you start seeing results, it's easier. It becomes more of the momentum. You tend to smile more like, okay. And then comes the clothes, right? The clothes fits a little looser. The tops feel looser. Or for men, a little bigger, a little tighter. Women and men too, the waist. So now the motivation is like, oh, what I'm doing is working. I'm going to continue doing it. And then you are going to hit a plateau. It happens. That is the responsibility of your coach to let you know, like, okay, we hit a plateau. We're going to make some changes. We're going to shock the body because remember, our body adapts to stress. So what works in the beginning is not going to work towards the end. So you got to reshock the body, maybe different workouts, changing the meal plan. Just shock the body and those changes will come again.
Yeah. And again, I want to reiterate the photos and how important it is because you will see yourself literally before your own eyes transform. I've seen it getting ready for a show, shows, and I'm like, whoa, I was this. And now look at me. And you begin to feel yourself become more confident and it just becomes addictive.
Yes.
So when you begin to see progress in that way, you will then continuously go on that path. It's called accountability, people. Yeah. When you're held accountable, you will see results. People don't respond when they're not held accountable. So we encourage you, when you find a coach, that he or she is holding you accountable. And it's not to break your back, but it's to make sure you become the best version of yourself. Yeah. You're paying them. So you need to make sure that your investment is It's
building equity.
Yeah. It's building equity.
Just build that equity.
Exactly.
And a few red flags to look for when you're looking for a trainer. And I'll keep it simple. Number one, and do he or she communicate well? Do they get back to you on a timely manner? If you ask them a question, are they giving you the answers? Very important, right? Imagine having a boss and you're trying to do a deadline and they don't get back to you. And now the deadline comes and they're upset at you. You're like, I just asked you 3 times about the deadline. Now you're asking me. So in communications, is very important. Number 2, are they on time, right? Do they respect your time? And things happen. But if you're running late, communicate with the trainer. Hey, I'm running a few minutes behind. If the trainer's running late, is he or she communicating with you? Hey, I'm running a little bit behind traffic, whatever's going on. If he or she's letting you wait 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and they don't even tell you, that's a red flag. That's a conversation I would not let it slide. I would talk to them after the session and say, look, I understand things happen. I need to know. Because you could have warmed up. You could have done an active stretching. Could have maybe done some cardio until he or she comes. So 2 red flags that I would not ignore. This is not free. You're paying for a service. Communication and tardiness. Very important.
Yeah. Also, testimonial. You'll see a trainer and they're training their clients. You can ask their client, they don't have to know pretty much, how do you like your trainer? What was your starting point, so on and so forth. And if you have more time to observe, you can see transformation in individuals. Yeah. If you don't see transformation in a trainer's client, 2 things are going wrong. The client's not listening or the trainer doesn't know what he's doing.
Or this could be somewhat avoided with what? Communication.
Also, to testimonial, you could not only just see, but everything is on social media, right? So people are constantly posting. You could see a trainer. I know a few trainers that post their clients' transformation, which is huge.
Yes.
So, and it's very important because then now you could see and kind of mirror yourself to one of their clients and see this individual's transformation. And it can tell you, you know what, I can do this too. Yeah. You see all those doctors who work on, whether it's BBLs or, changing women's bodies, right? That they're always posting before and after pics. They're doing that for a reason. Come to my service.
Yes.
Look at my clients who came to me to get breast implants or, whatever it may be, to change their look. Mm-hmm. And now look at them and you're thinking the same thing. Yeah. So with that said, a trainer should have the same type of testimonial.
Yeah.
To show you.
Take your time looking for a trainer or take your time looking for a studio. If you're looking for a yoga studio, spinning studio, Pilates studio, there's different Pilates studios out there. Go under the reviews. Google the people. Go on social media. What are the members saying? What are the comments? And again, a lot of studios and gyms always offer a free day pass. Trainers typically offer a free session. And again, it's not all about the money. It's about, are we compatible, right? Are we a good fit? If you're the quiet type and he's the quiet type or she, it may not go well. So you may need somebody to be the opposite of you. Or if you're the loud one and he's the loud one and she's the loud one, it may be a little kind of a clash. So what works for these clients may not work for you. So don't rush into it, but don't procrastinate. Do your research. And like Larry said, speak to the clients and look, I'm thinking of working with John. How was your experience? How was it? And people will tell you, and sometimes they'll joke around and say, I love John. He's great. Look how I looked before. He tends to be late sometimes, but he still gives me the hour. Okay. It's something you could work with, but very important. Do your research.
And then also, you want to make sure that your coach knows the person you are interviewing knows about your history, any medical conditions you have, because not everybody can attend to you if you're dehydrated or, if they're not CPR trained or, you're losing breath, you're cramping, you want to make sure certain injuries you have had, right? Yeah. I had severe spinal stenosis in the L4, L5. So when I spoke to my coach, he knew what not to do and where it won't impact my lower back, even at this level, So a good trainer knows how to train around certain injuries or things that you're unable to do. A lot of us may have arthritis, whether it's in the knees, the ankles,
shoulders,
shoulders. I mean, hey, we're at that age, so things, do begin to break down. Yeah. But the key is to have a knowledgeable trainer who is in tune to your body, who knows how to work around. They're not a cookie cutter trainer where, they're doing group training sessions, with 3-5 people. 2 people, it's good. More than that, I stay away from.
I'm going to give you a quick breakdown and you can write this down real quick. I'm going to give you a cheat code. Number 1, if you're looking for a studio, is the instructor and trainer walking around the studio checking on people, or they're standing in front of the studio? We don't want that. So I'm going to write that down. Number 2, if you're meeting a trainer and they put you through a workout right away without giving you an assessment and asking you your history questions, injury questions, that's a red flag. Do not train with that person. Because if somebody comes to me and says, Carlos, I want to work with you, we're going to sit down and talk for 15, 20 minutes about if you have any injuries, any limited issues, health issues. Then I'm going to stand you up and I'm going to put you through an assessment on how you walk, how you stand. Are your shoulders rolling forward? Is your neck this way? Is your feet externally rotating? All these things are telling me what's going on with your hip flexors, a lot of things. And then I'm going to tell you what I see. And chances are you're going to tell me, yeah, I've been going through back problems, hip problems, shoulder problems. My neck is always hurting. Now we're going to do exercises to reverse that. And then I'm going to tell you, I know you want to do boxing and you want to do certain things. We may not be able to do that now. Let's focus on these little things where we can make you better. Then we'll focus on the boxing in a few weeks. But for right now, let's make your shoulders go back. Let's recontract. Let's help your feet stop doing this way and go, straight. Let me help your hip flexors not be so tight. So if your trainer's not giving you an assessment, walk away. If you walk into any studio and the instructor stands in the front and there's like 10, 12, machines and spinning bikes, and they don't walk around and cueing you and checking your form, that's not a good studio. Or it may not be a good instructor. So these are things that you got to look out for. Be very mindful where you're there in the class for 45 minutes to an hour, you want to be taken care of. And if you're with a trainer and you're having shoulder problems and they're having you shoulder press 80, 90 pounds, you're only going to get hurt.
Exactly. So a good trainer would also do, pretty much summarizing what Carlos is saying, is progressive overload.
Yes.
They're progressively taking you through to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
They're not cookie cutting it. They're not rushing it. They're just progressively getting you stronger, more mobile, more flexible. That's somebody that's in tune to their client, and which is extremely important.
Yeah.
Is there any other tidbits? I mean, I know there are other activities, fitness activities that don't require, a trainer. I know like jump roping. I used to love the jump rope all the time. My brother taught me when I was young to jump rope for 3 minutes up to 15 rounds, like a boxer would do. And that immensely got my legs in shape, my timing for basketball, but it's a great cardio.
Jump rope is one of the hardest things you could do. Jumping jacks, mountain climbers, certain things that you could be doing, just staying active, right? Push-ups, progression, right? So I can't do a push-up. All right, start doing push-ups on the wall. And then eventually go lower, lower, lower until you finally on the floor. And now you're doing push-ups. Just being active, and educating yourself. If you want to look a certain way, what would it take to get there? It's very simple, right? If I want a certain job, what would you say? How can I get that job? What skill do I need to, gain to get this position? Same thing with your body. If you want to look a certain way, what would it take? And am I willing to make those sacrifices? And if you are, don't lie to yourself. That's great. And if you're not, then, still work towards that. But remember, you need to make some sacrifices in anything in life.
Yeah.
In anything in life.
And then also too, lastly, for me, is that you can always work out at home. Yes. It's not the same as, being at a gym, but you could create your own little fitness center. There's a lot of trainers that do online training that you can plug into. We'll have, a handful of those individuals come on as well. But there's times where people say, I don't have the time. I don't have time. You have the time. Are you willing to put in the time?
Yes.
You only need a half an hour, start half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, may it be 3 days a week or whatever, which Carlos has mentioned earlier. You don't have to be in a full-fledged where Carlos and I are training, 6 times a week, 5, 6 times, depending on our week. but we built ourselves up to that point.
Yes.
We're not talking that's more advanced training, right?
Yes.
Where someone who's ageless, which again, ageless fitness, where you're starting at a later point in life, you don't start out 6 days a week.
No.
So we get guys who train with us at times who want to train and they're like, horse, want to work out or whatever. Work out, do the same thing that I do, but don't do the same weight I do, because that will eventually cause you to get hurt.
I always tell people, don't follow my weights. Right. Don't follow what I'm doing with the amount of weight. Just follow my intensity. Follow my effort, And when people say, I don't know if I have time, I want you to think about this. There's 168 hours in a week. You telling me you can't dedicate 3 hours? Come on, and things happen in life where, what happens if you get a promotion and then you have more work to do? Then you got to invest more time in the office. But you just told me 2 weeks ago you didn't have time to go into the gym. So my thing is prioritizing, making it a priority. Just invest 3 hours a week, whichever way you want to. It could be 1 day in the gym, 2 days walking outside. It could be 2 days in the gym and 1 day taking a spin class, or like you said, do online with a coach and you're doing some workouts at home. At least you're investing in your body. That's the right thing to do. And eventually this hobby will going to become a passion and something you will love to do without even being asked.
So folks, we just want to end up this session today and thank you all for tuning in. If in fact you have any questions,
yes,
you can drop a like, obviously.
Please subscribe.
Also drop questions in the comment area so that we can address it.
Yeah.
And then when we get to that point, we'll have live call-ins, where individuals can ask questions live. May it be to us, our guest. We want to make it interactive and we want to make it fun, learning. It's not always going to be a serious button tie type of atmosphere. It'll be a lot of joking. We both love to joke and laugh a lot.
Yep.
So we just want to thank you. We do have our sponsors,
Definitely want to thank Boxingology, one of the best boxing gyms in the Bronx. Don Renee, #1 spot for food, eating, and I'm dancing up in White Plains. Also, if you know anybody.
Yeah, we have E-Banks Law Firm, one of the top defense attorneys in New York.
Yeah.
So we just want to thank them for being behind us and so that we can share our wealth, knowledge, and love towards you all.
Yeah.
So until next time, be blessed, stay healthy, stay disciplined, stay focused. Until the next time.
Yep. And keep moving.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Take care.